Spear of Destiny Reloaded. To begin this review, I want to go over, real briefly, the original Spear of Destiny, which was released as a prequel to Wolfenstein 3D. In case you don't know the story of Spear of Destiny, just a 5-second story here. The Spear of Destiny was a spear that pierced the side of Christ. It's supposed to hold magical powers. Hitler wants the spear, and it's up to BJ to get it back. That's about it. So, the whole idea behind Spear of Destiny was to have BJ begin at the bottom, and he worked his way through the tunnels, through the dungeons, into the castle, and eventually he reached the top, where he faced off against the Death Knight and the Angel of Death. Now, there were a few complaints. Now, this was a great game, but there were some complaints. For instance, there were no new real graphics, aside from some new wall textures and, just vines in your face. Other than that, really, there was nothing new. There were no new weapons, and that was a real big problem that I think many gamers complained about. No new weapons. How could you not at least come up with one more new weapon? But we'll get to that later. There were also no new normal enemies. It was just the guard, the SS, and the mutant, and the officer. But really, that was it. Nothing else was really new, aside from the bosses. So, regardless of all that, it was still a great success, and, well, it went on, and it spawned a whole bunch of mods and TCs, which are all created by wolfers that just simply loved the game. So, fast forward, 16 years? Something like that. And now we have Spear of Destiny Reloaded. So, could this be the game that really gives us what we wanted to begin with? Perhaps id Software just didn't have the technology to give us what we have here. So, in a way, we really can't blame them. So anyhow, let's begin. We have graphics and sound. The first thing you're going to notice are the graphics. The graphics are amazing. When you first take a look at this thing, you really feel like you're starting a real mission. I mean, you see your parachute, and you see that you're outside in the mountains, and your goal is to get into that castle and get that spear. Now, this is great. I mean, the textures are amazing. The sky looks like a real sky. The ground is all there, like it's just, you're really there. And another thing you'll notice is the enemies. My god, these enemies look amazing. When I read the description of this game, it said that they were hand-drawn enemies, and that right there made me want to see what this game looked like, to see hand-drawn enemies. They look great. So, yeah, I mean, the graphics are top-notch throughout the entire game. You feel like you're journeying through the mines into the sewers, and you're really climbing up and up and up until you reach the ramparts, and finally just the top floor with the Death Knight. So yes, definitely amazing. So yeah, with the graphics are, of course, the sound effects. Wow, I mean, these are just as amazing. Everything about this sound effects makes you feel like you're really there, from the gunfire to the guards yelling at you. to the guards dying. And even the boss's voice, granted, what they say it hasn't changed since the original, but what they say, it's effective. It works. So, top-notch graphics and sound. I mean, there's no complaints at all. So let's get into the weaponry. This was the issue that really bothered gamers back when Spear of Destiny was released. No new weapons. So this game delivers not only better looking weapons, it delivers a lot of new weapons. We've got, well, maybe not a lot, but definitely a good variety. A good variety that I think could have been included in the original. Granted, they wouldn't have looked as nice, but they still probably could have been there. Of course, we have the Luger, we have the MP40, and we have the chain gun, which looks and behaves like a real chain gun. It's great. Added weapons are the carbine, the rifle, which unfortunately doesn't have a scope, but, you know, it's alright. And also we get grenades, which I think really add a touch of realism to it. The grenades get you out of some really tough binds, especially if you use them wisely around corners and a door that you know is going to open up. You just plant them there and they just walk right onto it, and ba-boom, that's the end of them. So that's great, you know. And of course we also have the STG, which is a great assault gun, and it really does a great job at balancing out a more powerful rate of fire, but it doesn't eat up all your ammo like the chain gun does. So the STG is a great weapon. Let's see now. So there you have new weaponry. Now, concerning the enemies, we have two new enemies in this. Of course, we have the guards, and we have the SS, which, by the way, the SS are pretty scary looking. When you first encounter them, it's like, wow, these guys are giant sized, and they're wearing black. You know, they're not wearing the blue that old schoolers are used to. You know, they're scary looking, and they're strong. But now we have also riflemen. They look like regular guards, but they can really hurt you, especially when you see them. They kneel down. You better get out of the way, because they can one-hit kill you. So, we have those guys. We have the new officer, which I call him the Black Officer. He's basically the regular gray officer. He's just I think maybe a little faster, but I think he's wearing a little stronger armor. Otherwise, he's pretty much the same guy. Then we also have a new kind of mutant. Oh man, who wasn't afraid of this guy when he first popped out? This guy will blow you up countless times. I call him the Mad Bomber, and man, he is someone to contend with. You got to be really careful with him. Fortunately, his grenades don't really... He can't throw them that far, so if you're a good distance away, you should be able to keep away from him. But, you know, if he just pops in front of you, and he doesn't care if he blows himself up either, he will just one-hit kill you. So, what he does, basically, is just throws grenades at you, repeatedly, until either you or him are dead. So, that's the Mad Bomber for you. And, of course, now we also have the dreaded STG guy, which nobody likes this guy. Oh my god. This guy, if there was somebody even more dangerous than the Mad Bomber, it might be this guy. Although I think they're both equally dangerous in their own separate ways. the STG guy is not really suicidal, but he's definitely no pushover. He's very, very quick, and he's very, very strong. He's just an overall pinhead. You know, you just have to take him out as quickly as possible. So enemy variety is top notch. It really is. It adds everything I think a gamer wanted. But it's not impossible. It's definitely manageable. But you do need strategy. And that, I think, really comes into play in this game. Strategy really does shine in this. For instance, you can backstab the enemies, which is great. It not only gives you bonus points, but it also keeps them quiet so other guards don't hear you. Another thing that is there, but I think could have been used a little better, was picking up the enemies and putting them somewhere else. You can really pick them up and hide the body somewhere so that they don't see it. Or you can just use the body to hold the door open in case, you know, you need a door open. So yeah, it is useful, but I didn't really find any real use for it, aside from holding the door open. I wasn't too concerned about guards seeing a dead body there, so, you know, I get it, but I think it's something that's, it was a nice effect, that's all. Let's see. So we went over weapons, enemies, okay. How about the gameplay? Let's see, we have, I mean, I think the overall gameplay was it was solid. It was a solid experience. The enemies, I think, yeah, they offered a challenge, but they weren't impossible. But I think what I want to get to, and I'm kind of running out of time here, it was the end, and I'd be lying if I said that I was completely happy with the end, with the last level. You know, you build up, you build up, you build up, you climb your way to the top, and then you end up with a very, very short level 18, and an even shorter Angel of Death level. So with that said, yeah, I just think it could have been better, and when you beat it, it just kind of, I didn't feel any sense of closure with the game. It just kind of ended. You know what I mean? Like, you kill the Angel of Death, and then you see the original ending, which is, and actually no, you don't see the original ending. All you see is BJ collapse with the spear in his hand, and that was it. And that was it. Really, that was it. And then, I don't know, see, that's why I think it could have been a bit better there. Also, where are the ghosts? And where's hell? Where's a big maze that, you know, they have to really search for the Angel of Death, you know? I think that's where it was really lacking right there. It was just a little too easy at the very end there. But, otherwise, this was a great game, and in closing, I just want to say thank you so much for making this game. It was a pleasure playing through it, and if you haven't played it yet, you gotta download it and play it. Go to kfhgames.com and just have fun. We'll see you guys.